What's up, everybody? Thank you for joining me here at Overdrive Guitar Channel. This channel is my passion. If you could hit like and subscribe, it would really help me to be able to continue my content creation journey. Alright, so right now during this, I guess you'd call it time of peril, right? Our pandemic, our international pandemic, a lot of people are getting themselves into things that they never had time for before. A key example is guitar. Um, However, if you look at the number of guitars sold every year compared to the number of people who really play guitar, it's no secret that most guitars that people buy end up being nothing more than a cool looking wall hanger. We're going to try to prevent that. If you ask people the reasons why they give up playing an instrument, it's kind of always the same thing. It's not as fun as I thought it was going to be. It's a lot of work. I went to lessons and it wasn't fun. Um, I could go on, but I think you see where I'm going. You need to have fun. I say it all the time in my videos. The most important part of guitar is having fun. If you're not having fun, you're not going to continue to learn and progress. And if you don't have a passion for this incredibly complicated thing, you're never going to really get into it. I should say complicated on the surface, because once you get into it, you'll find that it's actually pretty simple. And our goal here is for the guitar to become kind of an extension of our body or an extension of our voice. So, that was a very long-winded way. I said that weird. That was a very long-winded way of saying, I'm going to show you something today to make sure you have fun while you're playing guitar so you don't give up. This is going to be a little Hendrixian, if that's a word. This is going to be a little Hendrix-like phrase or line. This is just going to be the first video in this series. I'm going to show you one chord shape, one scale shape to get you jamming by yourself and having fun, because I don't want anybody to give up playing guitar. So just pay attention a little bit, and if you have trouble kind of getting a rhythm going, getting a jam going by yourself, you're not kind of to the point where you feel you can really have fun just playing something yet, I encourage you to use something like this as a jumping off point. I'm just some guy. I'm going to give you an example. It's just one of many examples that I just come up with off the cuff. I don't even know fully what the example is going to be yet. But the goal here is for you to take this, get inspired, put your own voice to it, express yourself, have fun, so you don't put the guitar down. So we're going to get right into it here. Let's look at our scale shape. Okay, so we commonly see this one referred to as the Hendrix chord. We're going to play it up here at the 7th position with our middle finger on the 5th string at the 7th fret, our first finger at the 4th string on the 6th fret, our ring finger on the 3rd string at the 7th fret, and our pinky on the 2nd string at the 8th fret. Now, if you'll notice, before I said scale shape, the guitar is a bunch of repeating patterns. I say it all the time. The sooner you can learn that you can take this scale shape and play it in other places on the guitar, the better. The guitar is just repeating patterns. Oops. The guitar is just repeating patterns. So this is what our Hendrix chord sounds like. Now, if you're feeling a little bit more adventurous, this shape thing that I just mentioned, another common place to play this chord is down here with your middle finger on the 4th string at the 2nd fret, your first finger on the 1st fret of the 3rd string, and your pinky and ring finger on the 3rd fret of the high E and the B strings. This is the Buddy Guy, Stevie Ray Vaughan, Mary Had a Little Lamb way of playing it, right? Right? But for the sake of this, I'm just going to show you up here. But like I said, this is inspiration for you to take it in your own direction. Play it wherever you want. Hopefully, if you're skilled enough, you can add some other chords to make it a progression. But let's truck along here. I really want to get through this. So here is our scale shape. We're going to play, this is the E minor pentatonic that we're going to be using. So we're going to play 12-15 on the low E, 12-14 on the A, 12-14 on the D, 12-14 on the G, and 12-15 on the B and the high E. Right? The guitar player's favorite position of his favorite scale. So, now looking at this Hendrix phrase we're trying to get into, we're going to start with an open hit of the low E, followed by a strike of the Hendrix chord I showed you. Just a little tip, if you're a beginner and timing is kind of one of your biggest obstacles, which it pretty much always is if you're beginning. If you're writing phrases like this, start with a hit of an open string and it will be a lot easier to get back to where you need to be at the beginning of the phrase, obviously, because your left hand doesn't really need to be anywhere. You get that extra beat to get your hand where it needs to be to play the next part of the song, if that makes sense. So, we have our open string hit and our chord hit. Now, if you notice, I'm muting the open string after I hit it. That's because I'm personally aiming for the Hendrixy sound. Like I said, you don't have to. This is just an inspiration. This is just the way I'm playing it. So, open string, chord hit. 2 pull-offs, 2nd fret. We're going to pull off of the D string and the A string. We're going to play the 3rd fret of our low E with a slight bend, and then go back to our E note on the 2nd fret of the D string. Okay, so we're going to repeat our open string hit. That's we'll call that our first part of our first phrase. Okay, so we have you start the same way. Now we slide from the 12th fret to the 14th fret on the A string. We play a hammer-on from the 12th to the 14th of the D. Now a nice double stop with a little bit of vibrato, if you have it in you, on the B and the G string at the 12th fret. And then returning to our root note here on the D string at the 14th fret. So that little part all together. Okay? Now notice my wide vibrato because, again, I'm going for the Hendrixy type of vibe. Of course, you don't need to, just me. Now, back to the way we're beginning all of our phrases with our open string strike and our chord hit. Repeating our pull-off little chunk. Now, this is the part where as a instructor, I'd really like to have you fill in at least one part. So if you have the maybe skills, knowledge, however you want to say it, if you have it in you, maybe just use the E minor pentatonic scale to fill in the last part of this phrase and keep it in time. But I'm going to give you an example to get you started, again in this Hendrix-like style. So my example, we're going to start again at our last part of our last phrase. So we have our open string strike, our Hendrix chord. Now we have a couple of beats where we wait. We wait 2 beats, okay? Full bend, and we choke the bend when we get to the top. Okay, we want it to go right up to the top of our bend. We want to choke it right at the top. We don't want to hear it come back down, but we still want it to take up the musical space of a full beat. Don't rush it. Okay, so full bend up. Now again, full bend up, but this time don't choke it out. Bring it back down and let it sound out. We're going to come down our pentatonic now, skipping our B note on our 12th fret, and we're going to go right to our G with a super wide vibrato. Okay, very Hendrix, especially this G with a super wide vibrato. So this is where we are all together. Okay, now notice on my last part of my last beat, like I said, before I say this, as soon as you learn, or even before, if you wish, I recommend learning all the parts to a metronome, but if not, as soon as you get all the parts under your fingers, using a metronome or some other kind of timekeeping device is crucial, especially if you're in the stage of guitar that this lesson is aimed at. Okay, so now we're going to look at our last part again, where we have our open string strike, our Hendrix chord. Okay, now we wait 2 beats before we do our... Now you might not really comprehend it in the beginning, if you're kind of at the earlier stages of guitar, what I mean by waiting 2 beats until you put on a metronome or a drum track. I recommend starting out slow, like 55, 60 beats per minute, until you it might seem really slow at first, but once you really have that handle, you'll know it, and you'll really know that it's time to turn up the speed a little. Hendrix never played extremely fast anyways, but like I said, this is just meant to be a jumping off point. You can take this in any direction you want. So, we'll have some more videos coming up soon. My next video will be about phrasing tips. Oh, first, I want to tell you this. Now, I explained this about the scale shape, that I called it a scale. I'm sorry. Now, I explained this already about the chord shape, that I called it a chord shape because the guitar repeats itself. We can use shapes in different keys as in different tonalities. But long story short, what I want to say is, if you're not aware of this, the E minor pentatonic scale that I showed you also repeats in the open position. Okay? So we have open 3, open 2, open 2, open 2, open 3, open 3. So this is a great to get you kind of moving back and forth. find the different kind of expression that playing in different parts of the guitar will give you. This is all aimed at having fun, but we want to learn while we're having fun too. So, next lesson will be about some phrasing ideas, maybe adding some notes to the E minor pentatonic. The lesson after that will be about fleshing this out into a actual progression, um, which I encourage you, if you already know how to do that, I encourage you to do that on your own anyways with this. Take it to a 1-4-5, or you can take it whichever way you want, obviously. So we'll have a few more lessons coming up, and in each one I'll take you through kind of a different stage of improvisation or phrasing or putting a song together. So if you found the content that I made helpful at all, please like and subscribe so I can continue my content creation journey. Please come back, hit the bell so you don't miss the upcoming lessons. Please come back and see me again. Thank you guys, and keep on rocking.